morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to take a look at a new promo pack over in Japan, and that means a new trainer card, a new EX, a new bunch of fun. And this is the point where a bunch of you go, "Oh, Wassy, come on. These promo packs aren't always great," and you're right. These promo packs aren't always great. This is one you need to pay attention to. The stadium is absolutely busted. Like, ridiculous. Guaranteed to see a huge amount of play. Guaranteed. We'll get there in a second. First, let's have a look at Scovillain EX. Now, what we got here is 260 HP, which is slightly low for a Stage 1 EX, but I'm sure we'll be fine. And we've got, for a single colourless energy, I have done all these translations myself, your opponent's active Pokemon is now burned. During your opponent's next turn, their active Pokemon cannot retreat. Where's my damage? And yes, I know burn does damage, alright? I understand the concept that burn does damage, but what I mean, I want some damage here, alright? I want to have some damage. I appreciate the fact that you can burn them and then they can't retreat, so they hopefully sit there taking burn damage. Remember, with burn, you take the damage and then you flip to see if you're still burned. My point is, it's a stage 1. I want some damage here, not just burn. I do appreciate the dualness of, hey, they can't retreat and I get burn. But no, not good enough, ladies and gentlemen. Not good enough. But then we've got 2 grass energy, 140 damage, and you discard a card from your opponent's hand, and you discard the top card from your opponent's deck. And that makes me happy. Now, you're not really one-hit KOing here. If they're weak, you're doing 280, which is a magic number for V-Star. Yes, that will be some one-hit KOs. Generally speaking, you're not one-hit KOing here, you're 2-hit KOing. But as I've said many, many times, if you can't get a one-hit KO, get a 2-hit KO with Disruption. And that's the goal here. You are aiming to get a 2-hit KO while disrupting your opponent. And this could work, honestly. It's only 2 grass energy, which isn't particularly high. And don't forget, we've always got Gardenia's Vigor as an option. Or, it's 2 energy. It's really not such a big deal. So this is good. And then you kind of need to try and get your opponent in a situation where this is going to really hurt them. And I'm sorry that I say this like all the time, but I'm sorry, for the next couple of years, I'm going to keep saying this all the time. Iono. This is a great card to pair with Iono. Like, if your opponent's got 1 prize remaining, you Iono them down to 1 card. Then you discard that 1 card from their hand, and you discard the top card of their deck as well. Now, I just want to warn you, it is guaranteed that at some point, you are going to discard the top card of their deck, which would not help them, leading them to draw into the second card in their deck, which will win them the game. That is inevitable, that is guaranteed, that is going to happen, I'm sorry. But there are also going to be plenty of games, because the thing is, at that stage, your opponent needs more stuff. Late in the game, they need stuff. And you discarding that 1 energy or that 1 supporter or that 1 Pokemon from the top of their deck could be that 1 card to mill that wins you the game. Randomly milling 1 card at the start of the game, I mean, look, it could be that you end up hitting the perfect card. Most of the time, milling 1 random card at the start of the game isn't going to work. But milling 1 card late in the game when your opponent has a 0 card hand, that can work. And that's why I like Scovillain here. I like it as a late game post-Iono Pokemon so that I can basically sit there and laugh at my opponent. That, and in a nice way, of course. Friendly, jovial game. Not like I'm knocking you out of Top Cut and I'm relishing it, but I'm playing with my mate and it's like, tee-hee-hee, I've got you. That is why I like Scovillain here. I think this could be kind of cool. Is it going to work consistently enough to make it a good card? Not 100% sure, but it is at the very least very interesting. But then we get Moonlight Stadium. No, Moonlight Hill. That last kanji on the end blatantly says hill. Oh, I love this. I love this. This is a legitimately phenomenal card, and as a side note, The fact that this is a promo in Japan is kind of annoying because the Japanese version of this card is going to spike in price. I can almost guarantee it. And I like collecting these gym promo cards, and it's going to be really annoying. But what we've got is once during each player's turn, that player may discard a basic psychic energy from their hand and heal 30 damage from each of their Pokemon. You discard a psychic energy and heal 30 from all of your Pokemon. That is ridiculous healing. Remember when everyone was getting really excited about Champions Festival, healing 10 from all of your Pokemon? Yeah, it's like that, but it heals 30, not 10. Oh, and as a side note, you don't have to have a full bench in order to pull this off. Now, of course, there is a downside here, and the downside very simply is you need to discard a psychic energy from your hand. Yeah, you know, Gardevoir just wants to do that like all the time, right? The whole point of Gardevoir is you're playing Gardevoir EX that can accelerate psychic energy from your discard pile to your Pokemon. You actively want to be stacking energy, psychic energy, in the discard pile in order to take advantage of that ability. Yeah, great news, ladies and gentlemen. This just became essential in Gardevoir decks. Like full-on, flat-out, proper job, ridiculously essential in Gardevoir decks. This is, I'm going to spoil it right now, it's a 5 WOSSY card. This is one of those hands down, slam dunk, no question, 5 WOSSY cards. This is ridiculous. If I may say so, this is too good to be a gym promo. Because being a gym promo means, you know, you go to a gym meeting in Japan, you get a 1-card booster pack. And this is going to be like a 4 of in Gardevoir decks. And basically any psychic deck. Oh, maybe not any psychic deck. The reason this is so good in Gardevoir is partly the healing, which is great, but also that you can put energy in the discard pile, which Gardevoir absolutely wants to do. That is one of the reasons this is so ridiculously over-the-top, ridiculously busted in Gardevoir. And I know I'm going over the top to say how good this is in Gardevoir, but I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, it is that good in Gardevoir. It is a stadium that lets you discard that psychic energy while also healing 30 from everything. Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. Now, of course, there is another stadium we've been talking about as using in Gardevoir. It is from Pokemon card 151, it's Cycling Road. Which is weird because actually for us, we're going to get this card in Obsidian Flames before Pokemon 151 or Scarlet and Violet 151 releases. So although Japan got Cycling Road first, we're getting this first. Cycling Road lets you discard any basic energy to draw a card. Now firstly, I love the healing. But secondly, any random deck can use Cycling Road to give themselves a card advantage which could cause you to lose the game. Against non-psychic decks, Cycling Road is garbage for them, not for you. And the thing about stadiums is, because they're double-sided, they can be used by both players, you always want to try and avoid giving your opponent an advantage at every opportunity. This is phenomenal because you get to basically give yourself a ridiculous advantage while putting a stadium out that is going to be garbage for your opponent. Cannot stress enough, this is a ridiculous, ridiculous card. For anybody wondering, because I've already seen this question a few times, it's a gym promo. How's it coming out in English? It would have been a set. The trainer cards always just end up in sets. There's this weird thing in Japan where Cramomatic was a gym promo card. And obviously we all know Cramomatic's like a ridiculous card. And that card became super ridiculous expensive in Japan because it was a 4 of in a bunch of decks. Well, we just got it in Fusion Strike. So don't worry, in Japan, this card is going to get dumb. I am certain this card is going to get dumb over in Japan because it is so good in Gardevoir and so good in Gardevoir. And it's a gym promo. Over here, they're going to whack it in a set. It will be fine. It's a 5 WOSSY card, no question. Now, there are 2 other new cards in the set we need to have a quick look at. There is a Rev Room. Now, this one, single energy, flip a coin. If heads, choose 1 energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon and discard it. It's fine. It does specifically say energy, it does not say basic energy. So, single energy, discard an energy from your opponent. But this is on a stage 1 and it does no damage, so no. Free colourless energy, 70 damage. If you have more cards in hand than your opponent, 150. It's not bad. I mean, 150 for colourless energy on a stage 1 really is not too bad. The fact that it's colourless energy is really nice because it can be used for basically anything. It's not a terrible attack. I don't think you play this Rev Room on its own. That seems silly. But bearing in mind, we've got like the Rev Room from Paldea Evolved, which is a really good draw engine. If you're playing Rev Room anyway, playing this as a decent backup attacker, yeah. That's not too bad, ladies and gentlemen. That's not too bad. Also, it's clearly from Scarlet and Violet, not Paldea Evolved. That was dumb. Sorry about that. But yeah, if you're playing the good Rev Room, putting this one in as an extra attacker, not the worst idea ever. Now, we have also got a new Cleffa, and I was a bit silly. I saw 30 HP and no energy attack. I thought it was a reprint of the one that's coming in Obsidian Flames. It's actually not. Although we are going to look at a couple cards in a minute from this same promo pack, which actually are, there's 3 of them, that are reprints from Obsidian Flames. So you can see why I would think it would be a reprint from Obsidian Flames, but it's not a reprint from Obsidian Flames. Oh, and here's the wonderful Hyganasuke Cleffa. Look how good the Hyganasuke Cleffa is, ladies and gentlemen. It's amazing. Oh, and also it's a pre-release promo as well. Yeah, I thought they were giving us a 4th version of the same Cleffa. They're actually not. But it's terrible. For a single energy, search your deck for 2 basic energy and put them into your hand and shuffle your deck. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Don't play it. It's garbage. But it's kind of weird that we've got this Cleffa in Obsidian Flames with 3 different versions of it. And then in this promo pack, which is reprinting cards from Obsidian Flames, they're giving us this Cleffa, which is not just a reprint of the one from Obsidian Flames. I find that a little bit weird. Maybe it's just me. In terms of ones which are reprints of Obsidian Flames, we've got ourselves a Carvana, which doesn't need translating, it just does 20 damage. We've got ourselves, for what it's worth, I really like this artwork. Way better than the artwork in the set. I think this card is absolutely stunning. I think it's lovely. We've then got ourselves a Toxel. Single energy, 30 damage, plus 10 to itself. The regular art is Akira Igawa. I'm sorry, the regular art is a million times better. And then we've got this Pupitar, single energy, 20 damage, and then 2 fighting energy, 60, and 20 to one of your opponent's bench. I have no strong preference about artwork, I'll leave that one up to you. But that is a promo pack, and here's the thing, right? You can get yourself a new EX in Scovillain, a ridiculous stadium in Moonlight Hill, and then we've got new Cleffa and Rev Room, which are quite bad cards, let's be honest. So the Rev Room has potential. But then we got 3 random reprints in Carvana, Toxel, and Pupitar. So when you get this promo pack, there are 7 options inside. They are not even, ladies and gentlemen. They are not even at all. Right, that's what you need to know, ladies and gentlemen. And now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about this. Tell me how excited you are. Tell me anything you want to tell me in the comment section. Tell me if you think I'm exaggerating about Moonlight Hill. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and card games and Pokemon card games, all kinds of fun things. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. Like the land, and of course get shoutouts on the channel, like the lovely Landon Dastrup, who's been a real vocal supporter of ours for a very long time, and I can confirm is a very lovely person. So shout out to them for being awesome. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.